madam yame. Yani ile
Acha ni pass hiyo niseme the fire is getting bigger.
Nakwambia.
Kama composition ulipata 40.
Sana and welcome to the fireplace. This is our 7th episode and we are glad that you are watching us from wherever you are. We want to welcome you to the fireplace. And today we are discussing a very emotive subject, ending gender-based violence. And I know some of you have already shared your views on this. And I have my panelists on the fireplace. They are going to help us dig deeper and understand where we're coming from and what exactly gender-based violence is all about. So karibuni sana. Without wasting a lot of time, I know we have delayed starting and we want to apologize to our audience out there. I have already seen you guys complaining about how we have delayed. We really want to apologize for that. I think this should be the last time to start the show late. But without wasting a lot of time, I want to welcome my guests both to the show, and allow them to introduce themselves. But before that, this is the fireplace taking place at Pazuri Gardens in Kitale. If you don't know, if you are watching the show for the first time, we are at Pazuri Gardens in Kitale. So welcome to the show and karibuni sana.
Thank you.
Kindly just introduce
norms.
Yes.
So I give it to the gentleman first.
Okay.
This feels like a reunion.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yes, exactly.
Taken care of us.
Yes.
And I'm happy that I'm here.
Yes.
And I like what Ambrose is doing. And it's because of her.
Yes.
That she gave us a platform.
Amazing platform.
Yeah, so my name is John Chege. I am a son of Kitale. I come from Kitale. But I work for Gender Violence Recovery Center of Nairobi Women Hospital as a programs officer for advocacy and primary
prevention.
Yes. Primary prevention. So that's what I do. We handle gender-based violence cases. And we learn gender-based violence from, including what gender violence is, I learned from her. So I give it to her.
Okay, thank you.
Karibu sana
I'm
Chege.
Caroline Nalianya. I'm the health coordinator for the Catholic Diocese of Kitale. Yeah, and issues pertaining sexual violence. The first emergency is medical, so that is what I deal with. Thank you very much.
Right into the conversation. I like that. Karibuni sana. As you can see, these are very able personalities we have right here, and we get back to the conversation. So talking about the subject of today, ending gender-based violence. And I know both in our fields we have interacted with this subject before. There are a lot of campaigns of people, both men and women, towards stopping gender-based violence. Before I ask you how successful these campaigns have become, for that person who doesn't understand gender-based violence, how will you define it? How will you break it down?
Yeah, it's a very simple way of understanding what gender-based violence is. When you just look at the definition, we are saying violating the rights of either a woman or a man or a boy or a girl in terms of, we add the word sexual gender-based violence.
Okay.
So bringing it down to sexual gender-based violence, we are talking about sexually intimidating a woman or a man or
a boy or a
girl. And this means this person has not given consent to have any sexual action, which is not just the sex, but even looking at somebody to sexually feel arouse your sexual feelings and all that. So when it is not into the mind and the action of this other person, then the person has been violated.
Okay.
This is what I can put it in a broader way, but simply just going for an issue that can affect somebody psychologically or physically, and if it's narrowed down to sex, then it affects that person sexually.
Okay. My brother, break it down. Let's maybe you have an additional point to make.
Yeah, I remember.
Yes.
The year was 2010.
Yes.
When Caroline organized something for us. But for me, what I learned from it is what she had said is basically any harmful act that you do to a person on the basis of their gender. And this act that we are talking about is physical, is sexual, is emotional, psychological, or it's also economic. So if I do something to Ambrose, because Ambrose is a man, and I violate you either physically, emotionally, sexually, or economically, then that's gender-based violence.
Okay.
Kwa Kiswahili tunaweza sema ni kitendo chochote kinachofanywa mtu kwa sababu ya jinsia yake, sababu ni mwanamume au mwanamke, sababu ni kijana au ni msichana. Na hivi vitendo zinahusisha kutendewa mambo ya kuumizwa kimwili, kimapenzi, kiakili au pia kihali ya maisha.
Nakwambia. Tangu uanze kwenda Mombasa, my friend. Kiswahili kimenoga kweli kweli. Anyway, now how do you paint the picture of gender-based violence in this country as we are? How does the picture look like to you?
It is still a hidden scenario.
Yes.
But so much is going, people are going through so much. I can begin at a household level, it's happening. Very few households will bring it into even just the first level of reporting. It can be at a hospital or at the police or at a church or at school, but the reporting cases have been sieved. They are very few. Yeah. Then when it comes now to even cases now that have been reported and have been handled perfectly to the end, we can put it at 10%.
10%. That is not much.
Yeah.
That is not much.
Yeah. Meaning that I'm talking of if 100% of happenings are there, then only 10% reach a response.
Okay.
Yeah.
Conclusion.
A genuine conclusion that it has been responded to until this person is back, integrated back into the society and now feels that somehow forgets that this happened and moves on with life.
Okay.
Yeah.
We have had cases of girls in Nairobi. Was it Moi?
Yeah.
And it was given a lot of publicity. We have several girls in the coast who are pregnant from the same school, I think.
Yeah, one teacher.
Yeah. We had a few cases in Tanzania here, our own school here at Grassland.
Grassy.
Boys.
Grassy.
Like 20 of them.
20 of them in
sodomized and stuff like that. So we have a lot of cases coming into the public domain. How do you paint that picture, because you have been all over the country?
And what I can say is because of by virtue of where I work, GVRC, Gender Violence Recovery Center. Somebody has a calculator. 1 year we saw 3,000. Like our last year, it was 3,884.
3,884 cases.
That's 1 year. Somebody has a calculator. 3,884. Divided by 12.
3,884 divided by 12.
What do you get? 3,000. Those are only people who came. Like what you said, there is reporting is low.
Yes.
So how many are those?
324.
So we were seeing 324 cases per month.
And that is one facility.
That is one facility, Gender Violence Recovery Center. Then now break down. That is 1 month. Break it down per week. Divide it by 4. What do you get? 81. Every week we are seeing 81 cases. And what she said, 83% of our cases are actually sexual violence. That's per week. 83 cases per week. Now divide that by 7. Now 12 people that come to Nairobi Women Hospital have actually been sexually violated or physically violated. but sexual cases account for the biggest cases. So those are
12 cases in a day.
In a day.
In one facility.
In one day. And those are people that come out to report. So the picture is so grim. And children are actually 40. Right now, as you are speaking, GVRC has seen 41,000. Up to our financial year begins in April. Up to April, we had 41,000 and something. No, 41,000 people. That's a lot of people. These are just not statistics. These are people with the real names.
Yes.
People that we see, people that we talk to. 41,000 is a big number.
Suffering.
What would happen if it was a road accident and 41 people were involved, 41,000 people were involved in the same? But remember what Kara was saying,
yes.
Reporting is low. And these are only people who can come to Gender Violence Recovery Center. Some people, it happens, they don't report.
They don't, yeah.
Some people go to a private hospital and they cross the matter.
Yes.
So the picture is grim.
Yes.
And they do kangaroo courts and they settle that out. Like if my father's brother has come to a place and my father's brother with my uncle violates my sister, my father says we settle this thing.
Yes.
So it just does like that.
It is bad news.
Yeah, but people who come there every day we see 12 people. So that's minimum 12.
Let me break it down for our viewers out there. Somebody might be wondering, why are these guys talking about gender-based violence in the first place? Maybe it doesn't make a meaning. Maybe it's not clicking in their mind how important it is to talk about this subject. So try and help us understand how grave gender-based violence is, an act of violence to someone. How grave is that? So that then we can justify this conversation. How bad is it if somebody goes through such an act and survives?
Yeah, maybe if I can talk about it.
Yes.
Gender-based violence is so grievous that I feel what Carol said about breaking the human rights. If you are born a human being, automatically you acquire rights that cannot be. We say they cannot be alienated from you.
Yes.
So number one, if you don't respect human rights, then somebody will do anything that they want. Gender-based violence is so grievous. Where I work, my place, I deal with it like on a daily basis. So GBV is so bad that you see somebody has been beaten, and this person has been beaten. Labda amepigwa ngumi ya macho imefura, amepigwa rungu ya kichwa, mwingine amekatwa na panga.
Yeah.
Some people come to the hospital, wameshakatwa mkono.
Yeah.
Daktari atafanya nini?
I remember the lady from is it Makweni?
Yeah. She came to our place.
Yeah.
Na mkono ina hang tu, daktari atafanya nini? Si ni kutoa tu. But when you are doing that, it's that grievous. That's the picture that we get. But what I can say is the picture is so grim that you find our youngest survivor is a 4-week-old baby.
4 weeks.
4 weeks, that's 1 month. Defiled by its own father. Mtoto ana wiki 4 amekuwa defiled na baba yake mwenyewe. That's how grievous it is. And that's how much it hurts me. And the oldest survivor we have seen at GVRC is 105 years old. From Embu, gang raped by a group of young people. So sometimes you feel like this thing is just too much. Not even the sexual violence alone. There's also the physical violence. Mtu anapiga mwingine, unapiga mtoto wa mtu in a way that if I ask you, okay, if I do this to your daughter, would you be okay? Somebody says, no, you cannot do this to my daughter. But why are you doing it to that other person? It's somebody else's daughter.
Yeah.
So it's so grievous, it's so grim. And what you're seeing now, a lot of GBV cases, I know, Carol, you've been watching, is they are ending up in homicide. People are dying. Mtu anaamka tu unapata amechoma nyumba, amechoma bwanake, ameua watoto, amepiga bibi panga, bibi amedunga bibi mzee kisu. I also lost a cousin out of the same. Bibi yake alimdunga tu kisu, and the guy died. So it's so grievous and it is real and it's something that we're dealing with.
Given the kind of picture that my brother has mentioned, do you think gender-based violence in this country is being given the attention that it deserves?
To a minimal level, I can't say that nothing is being done because Chege is mentioning he's working in the concept behind the kind of response has been studied, and quite a number of research has been done, fact-finding missions have been done, and some bit of action has been put in place, including even putting in place some very strict acts that are being discussed in our parliaments and turned into acts to ensure that we formulate policies that can handle these cases.
Yes.
And for sure, at Nairobi Women Hospital is one big model that some other counties are learning from. Trans Nzoia County learned from Nairobi Hospital and Women Hospital, and now it upped and piloted
the Gender Recovery
Center here. So we can, and it piloted it into a government system, which now at the moment every county and every district, every county referral hospital has to have a response to gender-based violence center, that kind of center. However, when you go to other places, they have integrated it into the normal services, and now it causes delay. You know, when a gender recovery center has to be prompt in terms of action, because when medical, I've talked about it and saying it's an emergency. The same way a hospital can put an emergency center into place where people, when they get accident, they get there and dealt with like an emergency. This is also a violation which gives a physical harm to the body, and if it's not prevented, then it can cause other consequences which will need a bigger rehabilitation to be done. So this, when you say that you've just integrated it into the normal services, there will be delay, and when you give medical services to this, then the response will be too little, too late. So these responses are there, but I think the entire system, you know, when it comes to gender-based violence, we are talking about a bridge where when we are talking about physical harm to me. But physical harm cannot only be solved by medical. Medical is the emergency. I have to go to legal. Why did somebody violate my rights? The legal process has to take place, and at the end of it, I have to be integrated back to the society. And now when it comes to even, I'm talking about this, my region here, it is much more, our culture is Luya culture. You can imagine, I don't know if you once faced the same thing, that in case a young girl, when maybe you are even 4 years, 5 years, then you were raped. You've undergone all the treatment, you've undergone all the and you've even forgotten. But the society has not forgotten. When you have your fiancé coming, wanapoint hiyo boma yenu wanasema huyo msichana anakaa.
They bring you,
and yet you're not. You were raped, and now you have been given the blame of this curse. So how is the society integrating you? This is the other response that has to be done. Despite even the legal undergoings, maybe they can be smooth and fine. Medical undergoings are smooth and fine. But this response, when it comes to being integrated back, and you have to enjoy your life like any other person in that society, it's so difficult. So that is what I'm talking about. The government can put systems, legal systems can be perfect to handle it. You, the man or the perpetrator, in this case it can be man or woman. It can be it can be life imprisonment, or can be 30 years imprisonment. Because there's always no bond around that, or rather payments, and you are set free, but you should get into it. But now all these systems have been put in place, and they are well embedded, put into our legal law. But this community level response,
we have been left to celebrate the decision of the court, and we conclude it from that point.
Yes.
Without
but now, being even the perpetrator, for how long? Yes, he did one action, but for how long will the community still, or rather the society, brand him as a rapist? So how long should it go? Yeah, he has gone through a process, and maybe he has gone out exited, but he will still be branded, and also the survivor will still be branded. So this branding, the negative branding, this kind of response is not well felt, and it can be 0.something%.
Talking about that, 63 of the cases you handled in all your centers are women. 63% are women, and there is 100% likelihood that those women were violated not by their fellow women but by men. All right, so we're looking at the role of men in either perpetuating this gender-based violence or helping in putting it to a stop. But before we come to the role of men in the whole of this conversation, we want to take a short break. Ladies and gentlemen, we will be back in a short while. Please, I would want to request my camera guy to take a comment or two from the audience, those who are here, and then we'll be back in a short while. Kindly. Usizime yo.
Or makes these people to do such things to a 1-month-old baby and 105 years old woman. There's no pleasure there at all. So we really need to know what is the
Go fast. It's true, the statistics you put out, but 90% of perpetrators, people who commit gender-based violence acts, are actually men. And remember, gender-based violence is not only sexual or physical. This is also the emotional part. People treat their wives, they treat their spouses so badly. Somebody just, if I'm married to Karo, I just come home and I'm like, unapika nini, uji kupika.
Demeaning characters.
It's so demeaning, it's so lowering somebody's self-esteem. Then there's also the physical part and the sexual part. 90% of people who do these things, 90% of people who rape, people who defile, people who beat are actually men. But I'm not saying that men are not abused. Men are also abused. But from the statistics we have, it's only 4% cases reported of men who've been abused. But 90% of people who do these things are actually men.
Okay.
So perpetrators are generally ni sisi, ni mimi na wewe Ambrose. We are the perpetrators. Yeah. So that's what, my first thing I can say about the role of men is men are number one perpetrators.
Okay.
Hao wanaume ndio wanafanya hizi vitu. 90% of people do these things actually.
Carol.
Now I'm
Talk
just
to
laughing.
Us. Yes.
I'm laughing because the role of men is to perpetrate. Because on a lighter note. That is not the role that now you have to be the perpetrators.
Yes.
But I'm looking at it that if the man, there was a time, Chege, remember, we were typically working on a HIV/AIDS project.
Yes.
And we had a support group of persons living with HIV, and the one who was making the facilitation, like the moderator of the group, wanted to go through a period of everybody talking something before now they start the session.
Yes.
And the lady just started by asking, we we are asexual. Binadamu, they are sexually oriented.
Yes.
So
that's sexual beings.
Yes, they are sexual beings. Yeah, that's what I wanted to say. But we are sexual beings. And now she went around and said and asked. And remember, I'm talking of a group of people who are living with HIV. So when she was going around and asking, what do you do for your to meet your sexual needs and all that, and everybody was just like, I abstain. Every HIV person, I abstain.
Yes.
Then she was just like,
yes,
goodness, then HIV is no more.
Yes.
If somebody with HIV can abstain,
yes,
then
we shouldn't be here.
Yes, we shouldn't be here. Because that is the end of the story. That is the end of the transmission.
Yes.
If everybody who is HIV positive can stop transmitting, and ourselves as health workers can prevent mother to child, we are done with HIV. But now we are not done with HIV. And now I bring the same scenario into the mix of sexual gender-based violence. I like putting it more towards this sexual, because that is the most somehow, like in domestic violence is also at a high rise. But now I'm looking at data that is being presented by my colleague, and we are talking of 96% are men. So the solution, men's role is let men stop violating. That is their role. And we will have done away with 94% of sexual violence. Yes. True. Just like as easy as that. But how easy is it that men can now stop violating?
Yes.
And now even start influencing the ladies who are violating
to also
stop violating.
Yes.
Now, dealing with a 96% to bring it to 0% is not that.
It's not a joke.
Yeah. So what is the steps that we need to put in front?
Yes.
Yeah. I always look at it that if we take it the legal way, when it comes to sexual violence or any violence, si mtu anasema tu si ataenda hospitali, kama ni amepigwa macho atapewa macho ya kondoo and ataona. Like medically we have a solution, but remember it has a more dire consequence.
Yeah, it's more complicated.
For me, the solution can come legally. If we tighten our laws, the same way we banned paper bags.
Yes.
Like no Kenyan could believe we could do away with paper bags.
But we did with it.
But we did.
We did it.
When immediately it was a law, it was well responded to. Now I also think men should be warned that there's so many men who don't know what can happen to them if they just do that 2 minutes act, which can end up being a violence. They don't know. Yeah. So let this so-called our legal system, judiciary system, let them get out of those courts waiting to pile their files and say tumeshindwa kumaliza files. Let them go and do sensitization of these men. Nawaambie nyinyi, sheria ya Kenya inasema ukirep mtoto utafungwa miaka 30. Miaka 30, you are already 40 years.
Yes.
Yeah, you'll die in your 70 years. Bonus ya Mungu itafanyika tu kwa jela.
Yes.
So when people will start now figuring out that they will be jailed, they might even be jailed forever. They will lose even seeing any close woman where you can pull up a macho. They will lose it. So with that feeling, for me, I think the best approach is to take it legally and let us take the education out.
Okay.
The same way in HIV, we have somehow started bringing steps because of going out and sensitizing people and preventing the cases. So this legal, I don't know. I'm not legally, I'm not a professional professional in legal issues,
Yes.
but I look at it that let them not just wait for cases to come, but
yes.
they can also prevent cases
Yes.
and make their desk lighter.
Awesome. I want to ask you my prohibitive to people who are prone to or who have that tendency of committing gender-based violence crimes. Do you think it is that serious that somebody would think like, I cannot go that direction?
Yeah, very true. But I have to say, I'm not a lawyer, but I understand the legal area. Kenya has so many laws related to gender-based violence. Yes. Number one, starting with the Constitution itself, it gives us the Bill of Rights, which touches on what you are not to do, what somebody is entitled to. Go to the Sexual Offences Act, go to the Protection Against Domestic Violence Act, go to the Prohibition Against FGM, go to Marriage Act, go to
All that.
We have so many laws that are okay. The laws are good. But what Carol said is true. People don't know about these laws. People don't know. And sometimes the gap is in implementing the laws.
Okay.
Our laws are okay. They are punitive enough. They are not rehabilitative. They are punitive. You know, our laws are punitive. Ukishika mtoto na miaka 8, you are going to life imprisonment. Ukishika mtoto na miaka 13, unaenda miaka 20.
That is the end of the story.
Or above, you know. Our laws are like that. But what I can say is we have got good laws. The environment is okay. Your question is if we have enough.
Yes.
For me, I even feel we don't need more laws. We have about 7 or 9 related to gender-based violence. So the laws are there. What is lacking is what Carol said, is the awareness. Awareness and education on these laws. People need to know what we have this law in place, and this is what this law says. But now people do not know that. And the biggest letdown that I feel as a person is sexual violence is bailable.
Nowadays,
I rape Carol today, tomorrow I'm out on bail.
Yes.
And when I'm out on bail, nasema mtatuambia nini? Unafikiri unatuweza? And people don't know the law.
And now they go to kangaroo.
They go to kangaroo. Na tunaita baba yako, tunakuita, we give 100,000, 150, 70, 20, and we set all those things outside court because people don't know that these offenses are bailable. So for me, I feel like we have enough laws. People are not aware of the laws. And that's the biggest gap. It's like you cannot monitor, you cannot even complain of something you do not know.
Somebody posed a question that already the men are feeling that the gender-based violence law, what do we call it, Sexual Violence Act, is already too harsh on the men rather than on the ladies. That is,
it never talks about the men.
That's a lie.
It
That's
is
a lie.
saying
It's
a person.
yes.
A person can be a man or a
woman. It's gender.
Yeah.
Gender is a man or a woman.
Okay.
The Sexual Offences Act actually protects men in as much as it protects women.
Okay. How do we deal with implementation? Because now, of course, that's a big challenge. We have good laws so far that can help us to stop gender-based violence, but that is not happening. So then how do we make it a reality? How do we deal with that situation where we have laws, where we have government officers that are responsible to implement those laws, but still we have 1,000 cases coming up every day?
True. Like what I said, when you look at our statistics, it's 12 people per day. That means 12 divided by 24 is 2. Is a person an hour, or 2 people an hour. It's 2 people an hour that have been sexually abused or physically abused. Now, the biggest challenge comes in, even we don't need to get there. The thing is, we have to invest also in prevention of the same.
Yes.
How do we prevent these things from happening?
Good question.
Yeah, it's a good thing because we don't need to get there. Getting there is already sad enough. One case is sad enough for me. You know, one case is sad enough. So we have to prevent that case from happening. But in the unfortunate event that one case happens, then what should this person do? Okay. So for me, I feel like we have to invest more in educating, creating awareness, and making people. But I'm not saying, I don't want to say working with men. You are a man, I'm a man. I want to use the word engaging with.
Okay.
Yeah. My word is engaging with. Men are perpetrators. That's a fact. That's a fact. 96% is men who do these things.
Yes.
So how do we engage more with men? My first point on prevention is how do we engage with and work with these men?
Okay.
Even biblically, from the Bible, the man has roles. Even in the Bible, the man has roles. You are the head of the family. You are supposed to care for,
To protect.
You are supposed to protect. You know, you are supposed to inspire. You are supposed to prophesy. So if a man is not protecting, if a man is not caring for, if a man is not loving, if a man is not prophesying, a man, even your father's word. This is a fact in African tradition. Your mother might say anything, but your father's word is eternal. If your father blesses you, then you are blessed. But now we need to retake our position as a man, as men of this country, as men of now.
Men, Madam Carol, how did we get here in the first place? How did we get here? I'm just listening to him talk about the roles of men and what they're supposed to do. And indeed, in our days, we never used to see the neighbor's kid being violated by anyone. All right? It was not there. Maybe it was there, but very, very minimal.
Yeah.
How did we get here where a man will take a 1-month kid and violate?
Yeah, we can. You can harshly now blame the present generation for that. But he was talking of our Father on earth. You know, we say our Father in heaven.
Yes,
God. And our Father on earth is our Father, our biological Father, or anybody you are calling apart from priest. But I'm talking about a Father.
Yes.
Yeah, who takes a role of the responsibility that you are the child.
Yes.
And and this is what we are calling the men. The generation of men started by a father, and now when it comes to, we should not look at every time when I have a problem at hand.
Yes.
I am one person who believes in not looking at the history of where did this snake come from. I better beat it.
Okay.
Yeah, so that it doesn't. So
you deal with the snake. Forget about where it has come from.
Yes. So don't start asking where did the rain start beating us.
Yes.
Because we know the story of
it's already beating us. Yes.
Bathsheba is biblically a woman who faced violence. Yes. So we should not look at where I did it, but how do you handle the situation and prevent the situation so that it doesn't reoccur.
How do we deal with this?
Yes.
We are here. We have 12 cases in one gender recovery center. We have men going to violate kids of 1 year and even less, and 100 plus years. That is just gross.
Yes, this is
how. Yes.
You know, let me tell you one case that I handled. This was a young girl, about 11 years, who had been sexually violated, and we went into the gender recovery center. And when we reach there, we have to take samples for the perpetrator and also the survivor. Guess what? This child was HIV positive, and the perpetrator was not. The perpetrator cried. Mwanamume alilia machozi. And we have now to start
dealing with the perpetrator.
Perpetrator has to get pep to prevent him.
So we had to.
Yes.
So sometimes you can think that you are doing something, and he is in regrets. But at the end of it, he has to face the law.
Yes, true.
He's still a perpetrator. He's suffering from knowing if he will be
infected or not
with this HIV, and huyu mtoto ni mother to child transmitted. He's still again suffering from that, but he has to face the law. This child has to continue with her medication. She was on medication anyway. And now she has a double burden. Now as sexually violated, we have to deal with her psychological being.
Lakini
sasa, you see, so sometimes you can think you are making a grave thing towards somebody else. Unajua mtu alisema these things happen when you have to hide and even close your eyes because of hiding. But now at the end of it, the consequences will follow you.
Yes.
So we need to also just the thing is 3 times, and I say sensitization.
Yes.
Let people be aware of the consequences and what grave mistake or rather problems they are putting themselves in, and these problems will haunt them, both even the survivor.
Yes.
And why should you? And most of the time, it is very rare, unless it's gang rape, wizi na majambazi, they steal and rape you and move. Lakini hata huyo jambazi anakujua. Most of the time, rape case does not just happen from the blues, somebody who doesn't know. Incest is the highest.
According to your statistics, is it 68%
Yes.
of perpetrators are known to the
That is
survivor?
why kangaroo cases are stealing our legal system to go through, because sasa utaleta aibu, huyu ni mjomba yako, don't bring it out, huyu ni shangazi yako, don't huyu ni nyanya yetu, and even our culture says nyanya yako ndio mzee yako, sasa wacheni tu culture isha cover. You know, it will never happen. It is very minimal that you are being violated
By a stranger.
Very true. I agree with that.
Yeah. So sensitization, even it has just to start from a household level. The Ministry of Health has a system they are calling what? I think even the
community health workers or something like that?
Yeah, the community strategy thing. Yeah, where you are giving one person to take care of 11 households or 10 households. So they have also to look at issues pertaining sexual violence. And you know, issues pertaining, you can even just be in a home where una check penye wanaoshea vyombo, do they have a latrine? But anything sexually you can always sense.
Yeah, you can always sense.
You can always sense. You can always sense. So immediately you have that sense, we have to typically come up with a manual on how this community, madaktari wa nyumbani, community health workers and community volunteers have to also be sensitive to sexual violence issues.
Okay.
Yes.
I want to ask, because one of the roles, you have put it very rightly, that we have effort from government, especially in establishment of gender recovery centers, in health facilities, and even at some point integrating those services within the mainstream health services, which is not enough. I want to ask Bwana Chege, do you think the government is investing enough into this sector? Because it's one thing to have a law, but it's an entirely different thing to make sure that the law works. And now that we are talking about sensitization, which takes resources, do you think there is that the resources that are available to do this sensitization that we're talking about, or we are going to depend on the white man to give us donor money for us to do that?
Yeah, what I can say is, number one, the government feels it's done enough, but it is not enough. Then we have the whole the localization thing, the county system. Some counties have picked up. Now it's how is a county gender responsive in terms of gender-based violence?
Yes.
Do they have gender-responsive budgeting processes? We have counties that have done so well. We have, for one, Makueni has done so well in terms of allocating funds to response and prevention of gender-based violence. Yeah, we have counties that are doing it at their own level. Now, the government will come in through National Gender Equality Commission and other structures. Civil society will come and support. But for me, what I feel, government needs to take these things serious. These statistics are just not numbers. These are people. And these are citizens of Kenya. They are people with the rights. They are people that have been violated. Now, the government needs to take it seriously, so that the government needs to allocate, like, specifically, this is the amount of money we are going to use to respond and to prevention of gender-based violence. Yeah, we have a few pockets here and there, but it's just paying salaries and a few meetings, but it's not doing enough.
Yes.
What I can say is it needs to invest more.
Okay. And
there are benefits of investing in preventing gender-based violence. You have you have a healthy society. Our courts, Caro can tell you, there's a day I think we went with you to the prison. You've done some work in prison.
Yes, I have.
The highest number of people in prison are people who have done sexual offenses.
Yes,
Why
exactly.
are we? And those people, we are supporting
80%.
them with our money.
They are using our taxes in
It's
prison.
our money, it's your money. Somebody says tunamunulia lunch, tunamunulia supper, tunafanya nini, akigonjeka atakuacha kwa line sababu anangoya prison na atapita ataingia kwa pesa ya nani? Kwa pesa yetu. So government also needs to seriously think about this. Prisons are full of people who've committed sexual offenses. So it's doing something, but it's not enough.
Okay.
So it needs to do also a lot more. Like also Nyeri has tried during the first term.
Yes.
And before the other governor that passed, may he rest in peace. Nyeri had tried in terms of prevention, in terms of setting up a center. We have centers set up by county governments, and they are supporting Kisii level 6. At Kisii level 6, the medical teaching referral hospital at Kisii. They have also set up a center. They are doing what they can, and the governor is supporting that center in a small way. It's only that it is not given the attention that it requires.
Okay.
Like I got statistics from Kisii for July to September this year. For real, it's 686 cases that they have handled in 3 months. Those are people that have gone to, So what I'm saying is government needs to do more. They also need to do that.
Okay.
But generally, we cannot change. Kumkunja miti akiwa utamvunja akiwa amekomaa. Miti unamkunja akiwa mbichi. So we need also to invest in behavior modeling.
Okay.
What are we teaching our people? Model their behaviors. For the big people, let's gamble with behavior change. Sindio?
Yes.
See, Jesus was in here. He was not in Kitale, but he was somewhere in this world.
Yes.
Alichapa outreach miaka ngapi? 3. Miaka 3 Jesus alichapa outreach, sindio?
Yes.
Campaign ya kwenda wapi mbinguni.
And we're still talking about it.
And Jesus did the 3 outreach that has been carried years and years after that. But kwa hiyo 3 years outreach ya Jesus, kuna wase walikuwa wanaangalia kando wanasema tutasikia. Kuna wase walikubali mara ya kwanza. Kuna wase walikuwa wanaangalia wanasema, hii story ina make sense kweli. Karo anaenda, tunacheki Karo life yake imechange, anaanza kusucceed pia sisi tunaye. But there are people who never listen. Hata kuna mwenye alikatoa masikio hivi. Jesus akamrudishia masikio hivi. Ikarudi poa. Na bado akamshika na akampeleka. So behavior change is so difficult, and it's a process that you have to go through, which is sad for me. But what I'm saying is, let's invest in our young people.
Okay.
I have a daughter. I don't want anybody to violate my daughter.
A beautiful one.
Yeah, a beautiful daughter that I have, and she knows her rights. Lakini sasa nisingependa. So what we need to do is talk to men, personalize this issue. It's a personal issue. Wewe ukienda home Ambrose, Kakamega, upate mtu anachapa mama yako. Sababu mama yako alimwambia nivunie mahindi nitakulipa 800. Huyu jamaa mwambia hapana nataka 2000. Alafu upate anachapa mama yako. How will you deal with that person?
Crazy, man.
It's the same thing. Kwa nini unachapa mtoto ya mtu? Ule mama pia ni mama ya mtu. Ni mtoto wa mtu. Let's personalize this issue. If you don't want it to happen to your own daughter, you don't want it to happen to your own mother, you don't want it to happen to your own sister. I have my sister alive. Yeah, my sister alive so much. I cannot go now without her. She's even here. But if you cannot let it happen to your sister, you cannot let it happen to your daughter, then you cannot do that to somebody else. Because she's somebody's mother, she's somebody's sister, she's somebody's wife.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is so serious. We are running out of time, but we just want to take a very short break, and then when we come back, we will be talking about what is the role of individual male species out there to stop this problem at your own level. Let's not look at the government, let's not look at someone else doing it. We want to say what is your role wherever you are to be able to stop gender-based violence. We will be back in a moment. Uri Gardens from Kitale. We are so glad you're still with us. We want to wrap up this conversation, but before we do that, you need to make a point of coming to Pazuri. We have, if you want to have your favorite cold or hot drink, this is the place. If you want to listen to beautiful, soothing music, this is the place to be. Yeah, so when you're in Kitale, think about Pazuri. Karibu sana. Now, guys,
Yeah.
let's wrap up this conversation.
Guy
Guys, you know,
I know.
let's wrap up this conversation.
Yeah.
Individual actions that make a difference, because this is what this show is all about. Yeah, how do we inspire action from individuals to make change? And under the circumstances, we are talking about men and boys. So speak to them.
Yeah, the buck stops at you. Yeah, as I mentioned, if you can, you form the statistic of this so-called 96. So if you stop, and your brother stops, and your uncle stops, and your father stops, your grandfather stops, then we will end this. So it is all about, you know, we are talking of a moral issue. So and moral issues are issues that you can learn.
Yes.
And also just say, I want to be a good person. When I walk around, let me be a mirror to show that I am a human being and
Yes.
godly in that manner,
Yes.
that I cannot just cause violence to another and be a sadist.
Yes.
So it begins with you. Before you even say, I have to be reached by somebody to educate me, you have to start by having that positive will that we need to change these scenarios, and you should not form the statistics. So let it start by you.
All right. So speak to someone. Speak to a man and a boy out there.
For me, men, I'm talking to men. I'm telling men, let's stop this nonsense. Hii ni wanaume, hii ni upuzi, tuachane nayo kabisa. Number one, it's for men. I'm talking to men. This is total nonsense. I don't want to use the word bullshit, but it's total nonsense that we as men are doing. So for me, what I would say, point number one, as at the personal level, do unto others what you'd like to be done unto you. Treat somebody the way you would like somebody to treat your mother, to treat your wife, to treat your daughter, and to treat your sister. Simple as that. Ungependa dada yako kwe handle aje, ungependa bibi yako kwe handle aje, ungependa mtoto wako kwe handle aje. Because these women that you are doing these things to, they are all those. They are representative of what I've said. That is somebody's sister, that is somebody's daughter, that's somebody's mother.
Yes.
And what I would like to encourage is, men, our position is not threatened by gender equality.
It is not.
It is not threatened. It's even making it better. You know, life becomes easier when you're helping each other. It's a lot divided, 50-50. Gender equality is not threatening our position. Let's support our women. Let's support our women. Let's support our own wives.
Amazing.
Support your daughter. Support your sister. Support your mother. Because it's making life easier. We don't live for long. The longest you can live is about, you know, if you live for 15,000 days, those are only about 50-60 years. You have not lived long. So we just pass through.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
we just pass through.
Awesome.
So support women, support men. And what I can also say, let's retake our position as men.
Yeah.
It's even biblical. It's even in the Quran. Mwanaume ana sehemu yake kwa nyumba, ana sehemu yake, the biggest is to care for and protect.
Yes.
Care for and protect the women in your life. Care for and protect that woman.
Amazing, man.
Care for and protect that wife. Care for and protect that daughter. Care for and protect that sister.
Awesome.
And let's speak out. And if you are a man and you are going through issues, men also go through issues. Don't deal with them alone. Zitakulebea. Come out, speak out. We are here for you. And what I can finish is reporting. You can report all issues on the National Gender-Based Violence Line, which is 1195.
Okay.
Go to where Caroline is, at Catholic there. Go to Ambrose, Scholars. We are there for you. We can deal with these things.
Okay.
Yeah.
I want to end this show on that note, that the men and the boys out there have a responsibility to care and to protect the women in their lives. We can't say more than that. I mean, that is just so heavy. It is so ability as a man or a boy who is growing into a man to protect the women in your life.
True.
Thank you so much, Chege.